So,
got it.
Yeah, we're on. I'm Lucy Townsley and I specialise in women's health. So women's health is on a broad spectrum, starting at the beginning of your cycle. So, your early stages all the way up to getting pregnant or trying to get pregnant, or if you're having any difficulties with pregnancy, having your baby, and during pregnancy, because sometimes when you had the baby, it can be a shock to the system, no sleep. And also if you for so long, suddenly the overwhelmingness of it can really get you. So it's good to have support and help. And then moving on to perimenopause and menopause. And today I'm so happy to introduce you to Karen Molan. Before I let Karen tell you what she does, I just want to say that Karen helped my daughter Hannah when she was in primary school age. So probably around, I think we came to you for about 5 years, Karen, but the help that Karen did for Hannah was outstanding. I cannot recommend her enough for helping children. It really started Hannah in secondary school on a very level pegging. She went in a very confident child into first year. I always say it the wrong way around. In first year, and she's gone on. She did a brilliant junior cert, flew in her leaving cert, and Karen helped her all the way through. She said to us initially, keep coming to me anytime you needed help, which we did. And then she did her leaving cert and she went on and got her degree in health science and nutrition. So she really has done amazing. And all I can say is thank you. And I'm so glad that you're here. So now I'm going to let you tell us about what you do.
Thank you, Lucy. It actually does my heart good to hear you talk about your daughter that way, because I always remember her as being this little bright spark who would come into the room with such determination. And I know she got great support from you as well through her journey. So it's a combined effort. So what do I do? That's a really good question. So I am a self-development coach is the best way to describe it. I combine a couple of modalities. So I'm trained extensively in Neuro-Linguistic Programming and design human engineering. So that's about helping people to understand, basically in a nutshell, how they're programming themselves or how they're buying into the programs that were established in their youth, like up to the age of 7, and how those programs now determine how they live their life. And I use Adlerian psychology as well as thought field therapy, and which is tapping for those who don't know it, and some transaction analysis. And I work with, I used to back in the day do specifically just children, but all of my children now are much older that I worked with. So I now work with adults.
They've progressed to adulthood.
Yeah, so my age range, I suppose, of clients runs from 4 to 84. That's probably the best way to describe and encompass who I work with. And I work with everybody because people come to me when they're stuck. They have that feeling of, okay, so I have a great life, I have a great job, great family, great this, great that, but it's like, ugh, is this it? Is this all I have in life? Or I have very specifically this problem that I'm having, and can you help with that? And generally people end up, because of programming, repeating the same thing over and over again. And my motto is, if you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got, which is one of the presuppositions of NLP, that one of the phrases we use, which is that, I think it was Einstein said that if you keep doing the definition of insanity, yes, doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for a different result.
Yes, yes, I love that expression.
Yeah, if you want to make a change in life, you've got to let something go. Because if your life isn't working out for you the way you want it to, then just keep doing what you're doing. Your life still isn't going to work out the way you want it to. So it means you've got to let something go, which is, I saw your intake of breath there, Lucy. Yeah, it's a really scary thing.
The resistance already.
There is resistance to it. Yeah. And people often get afraid that letting something go means, oh, do I have to end my relationships? Do I have to change my job or something? And often letting something go is just a mindset. It's changing how you think. Mm-hmm. Changing what you believe. And to be able to change what you believe, you have to know what it is you believe. And a lot of people don't actually know their beliefs. And I'm not talking religious beliefs here. I'm talking their beliefs about life, about the role of women in society, the role of men in society, about the fairness or the injustice of society. What do you believe about that? Do you believe that the position you're in your job is the highest you're going to get because? And that because is the belief system. And that's often the thing that keeps you stuck. So I help people to unpick that and figure out what is it you actually believe about yourself that's causing you to stay exactly where you are? What would you like to believe instead? And how can we do that? And it's to change it for something more positive, more optimistic, that helps people have a happier outlook on life. It's so cliche to say that, I know, but it's actually the truth. There's a reason why cliches are cliches, and that's because they are the truth. You know what I mean? They have been proven to be true for lots of people, good and bad. So yeah, having a positive outlook on life, waking up every morning and being happy. Imagine waking up every morning and being happy.
Some people are probably going, how do you do that? Because I remember having a client with me who was shocked that if she woke up in a bad mood, that she'd have to stay in her bad mood. She couldn't change it for the whole day until she went to bed that night. And I was just like, well, you can change your mood. You don't have to stay in a bad mood. You can do things to change your state. That's something that I learned through the life coaching, putting on music or whatever works for you, jumping around, going for a walk, going for a swim, ringing a friend, those type of things. So yeah, you can. But what would your advice be to change how you wake in the morning?
Well, okay. So let me give you an example. You get up in the morning and you stub your toe off the bed. Right. And your reaction is going to be, my toe, oh my God, my toe. And it's like the worst pain in the world. And it's not like you've got a cut on your arm where you can hold it and mind it. It's your toe. Like you've got to bend down, you got to sit, you got to stand. And it just becomes a whole palaver to put some comfort on that toe. And you in that moment then have a choice. And this is the beautiful thing that people don't realize, is that you have choice. You're actually in control of your emotions. They are not in control of you. You decide how you're going to feel. So you can at that moment say, right, stub my toe on the bed. The day is ruined, and invariably you will spill your coffee or your tea. There will be traffic that's going to cause you to be late. And it's just like, oh, geez, I knew the day was going to be bad. I stubbed my toe.
That's true.
Get into this mindset, and it is literally just a mindset of, and it's I wouldn't, okay, we can call it a negative mindset if you want, but it's a, well, life sucks mindset. Today is written off mindset. It doesn't matter what I do today, now it's going to go wrong mindset. Okay. Or you can, in that moment when you've realized, actually, I'm in charge of my emotions. Yeah, my toe is really sore. Oh my God, I think I broke it. Because it does feel like you break your toe when you stub it off the end of the bed. And so you give yourself a minute to give self-care and comfort, and choose to hold your toe, sit on the floor and hold your toe if you need to, and just until it feels somewhat better. And then decide, right, I've looked after myself now in this moment. That's good. What else can I do today to look after myself? And instead of a day of the day is written off, it's now a day of, I must look after myself today because I stubbed my toe this morning. So I should be kind to myself. I should go gentle today. I should be careful with the coffee or the tea and not spill it. Do you know what? I should leave 5 minutes early for work because I want to be able to drive and listen to my music in the car and not be stressed. And I will always get people to visualize their hand on the steering wheel of the car, which during lockdown wasn't really useful, but it's very useful now that we're back. Do you want your hands white knuckled and your jaw set? Traffic. Or do you want to be like, oh God, I love this song, turn it up louder, yay, and realize that everybody who's driving against you is now laughing because invariably you're in the car going, exactly.
True.
Exactly.
You're sitting at the traffic lights and you're like, and you look across and someone's doing this. You're like,
exactly.
I want what they're on.
Yeah. And it is literally they're on their mindset of, this is my day. I'm intending on having a great day. And it is that easy to change. And people think, oh, well, that's easy to say. It's very hard to do. And initially, it can be a challenge for people because you're not used to the fact that you're in control of your emotions, because that means that the bad day you had last week was actually, you know, somewhat created by you, because you've got to take responsibility for how you react to things. That's the tough part of this. It's like, it's really easy to play the blame game and go, well, my boss is such a person and they're so horrible and they say these mean things to me, and, you know, like my life is so hard. Yeah. Nobody hears me. And how that affects you is entirely up to you. Because yes, you could have a boss who's horrible and screams in your face, which is completely unacceptable behavior. You don't have the power to change them in that instance. You don't have the control over another person so that you can change how they treat you. You can take steps and go to HR and do all of that in the next 10, 15 minutes. But right in that moment, you do not have the power to change that person and how they're treating you. But you most certainly have the power to choose how you respond to it. So you can decide, oh God, my boss is screaming. I'm worthless. I'm useless. I've done a bad job. That's why this person is screaming at me. And you can decide that that's how you feel about yourself. Or you can decide, wow, this person's really on a power trip. Maybe they stubbed their toe when they got out of bed this morning and they didn't know how to handle it properly. They're now taking it out on me. Okay, well, I'm going to imagine that there's perspex between us and everything they're saying is hitting that perspex and bouncing back at them. I'm not taking it on personal. Then you can, in that moment, you're protecting yourself from taking on hurt or to take on feelings of inadequacy about yourself based on somebody's reaction to a situation. And you can then, in that moment, protect yourself and then decide, right, this is completely inappropriate. Every Monday morning, this person is screaming at me. I am not putting up with this any longer. And I'm going to take steps to rectify it, to help this person change how they are. Right? I can't make them change, but I can certainly put tools in their way to help them change, which often is somebody from HR sitting them down and going, hey, you got to stop that. Right? But it takes it away from you. It means that you're not reacting out of a situation. It means that you're not reacting either angrily towards the person or the other people around you. It also means you're not reacting negatively toward yourself and diminishing yourself based on somebody else's behavior. So it's getting that control over your emotions, understanding that you control them, they do not control you, means that you become very centered and grounded as a person, able to handle life stresses. And we will all have stress. There's no one ever going to live life without stress. But you learn how to handle it so that you get through it effectively without it causing lasting damage. And it's actually a lot easier than it sounds to do this, to recognize your emotions, because most of us don't name what we're feeling.
It's very true.
Yeah,
it's very true.
Most of us feel, right, well, I'm just angry now. I'm furious. I'm like, how dare this person speak to me, or how dare this event happen, or how dare this happen, whatever. And they're angry. And I always say anger is a blanket emotion. You got to pull back the blanket and see what's underneath it. Because sometimes it is justifiable anger, but sometimes it's hurt, sometimes it's betrayal, sometimes it's envy, sometimes it's jealousy, sometimes it's, that childhood ache that a lot of people have, which comes from not having been heard as a child or being nurtured as a child. And sometimes it's that, and that comes out as anger. When you name and recognize what you're feeling, then you have power to control how you respond. And that ultimately is the gift.
That is absolutely superb advice, because it is so true. No, it really is, because you can, I remember I was going off to work one day and I was feeling really anxious. I think, and I was looking at it, I was like, why are you being anxious? It's ridiculous. You do this all the time. And when you get there, and I love my job. And I remember, but it was more, my anxiety was there because it was the holidays. and Amber was at home, my little daughter was at home, and James was minding her. Now the two of them get on really well. They're like two peas in a pod, the two of them. But I was just anxious about leaving. I was worried about her not being minded by him, or him not getting up and helping her with stuff. And that was my anxiety. It was nothing to do with work or going to work.
Yeah.
It was just leaving the two of them behind, even though James is 20 and she's 9, so they're well able to mind each other. But it was just that anxiety of going off and worrying, would he give her lunch, and don't be mean to her. He's not, but it's in my head.
Oh, in your head. Yeah.
This story going on. And then I'd ring and he'd be like, stop ringing us, we're doing something. I was like, okay. So it was my thing, nothing to do with them. They were fine. It was the visualization or the story I had in my head that was creating them. Yeah.
I love what you just said there, because that is exactly what people need to do. You're on your way to work and you're feeling anxious, but you don't examine why you're anxious. So you go into work with anxiety, and guess what happens? Your work goes wrong because you're now anxious doing it. But when you examine, why am I feeling? What is this feeling? Where would this feeling have come from? What's behind this? Then you get to see what's causing it. So I bet your work went splendidly that day. I mean, you may have,
work was fine. It wasn't work, but I could feel it sitting in my chest, this anxious feeling. And it was because I normally, when I leave the house, there's no one here because they've gone to school, gone to college, gone to work. Whereas this day, everybody was here, and I was worrying about leaving them. And because, you know, probably being a bit controlling, mother of the house, you know, in all honesty, and not being in control of what was happening in my home when I wasn't there. Yeah. And that was part of it.
And I would imagine there's a part of you as well was missing out, felt like they were missing out on the fact that, well, they're all at home and I have to go to work. Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a part of that as well. And like, there's so many emotions that go on in a person in the space of 10 seconds, we can experience so many different emotions. But it's been able to recognize them and understand them, and then have a bit of a sense of humor about it. I love the fact that you rang and they said, would you stop ringing? You're interrupting us. You know, I mean, it was like, okay, then.
It was like, stop it, Mama. We're not going to answer the phone. We'll ring you if there's a problem. I was like, okay.
Your children put you back in your box. It's like, it's lovely. Yeah. But it's lovely that you took an action to appease the anxiety. Okay, I'm going to ring. So you didn't just sit in the anxiety and stress all day about them. She said, right, I need to do something about this. So I'm going to check in. And you were absolutely reassured when they said, stop ringing. Yeah. You know, you got what you need there. So
well, my 9-year-old, what do you want now, Mom?
I love this. So yeah, it is like the power of naming what you're feeling and being honest with yourself about what you're feeling. And then having a bit of a sense of humor about it, because you talk about not being in control. I mean, and I'm not that I'm a control freak or anything, but I absolutely understand that emotion.
Yeah. I was.
Will everybody be okay? Is everybody know what they're doing? Have we got everything in order? You know, and I've learned over the years like that. I see this now as a skill, that this is organization. But the need to check up and make sure that everything is done is the controlling part. So if I put the organization in place and then I laugh at my need to control, then it no longer is there. Then I let it go. So you develop a sense of humor. You see, when you can break down that need for control, or the need for approval from people, or the need for people pleasing, or to feel that you're morally superior over others, that you know more than others, or to avoid tasks altogether. Like there are 4 stress reactions right there. Okay, you control, you people please, you avoid, and you need to feel superior over somebody or something to feel good about yourself. And when you can recognize what those are and kind of just go, right, well, that's just me being a control freak today. I'm just going to let that one go. You actually appreciate yourself more, and you take the pressure off yourself. You find your shoulders, which were up here, are now back down there, you know, and you find that, oh, I'm breathing back into the bottom of my lungs again. you know, whereas it was up here, like, is everyone okay? Does everyone know what they're doing?
Yeah,
Will
true.
everybody be looked after? And so you get that full body breath going again. And it's such freedom for people to know and understand what they're feeling, to recognize it, and to make choices around it. And that is beautiful work.
It is. And it's not, I think when you first face looking at your feelings can be quite scary, very scary actually.
Yeah.
But actually when you, as you say, when you kind of go into it and you see the humorous side of it, of you being like, you know, control freak. My kids call me a control freak.
Every mother's a control freak.
Yeah. Well, you just have to be so, you know, like you have to be regimented. You have to be organized, not regimented, but you know, you've got so much to do before you get everyone out the door. Well, I'm lucky, my two are big now, so only one to get out the door to school. But you know, getting out the door to school, getting ready for work. I have horses as well, so feeding the horses, making sure the kitchen's tidy, you know, things that you just like to do before you leave the house, make the beds. And if they're not done, it feels like my day has not started in a way. But you know, and sometimes I just go, well, actually, do you know what? Today you didn't get time to do all those things. They'll still be there tomorrow to do them again.
Exactly. If the beds aren't made today, they'll be made this afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, the essentials get taken care of. The children and the animals get fed. You know, you feed yourself, because self-care is equally as important. You do the things that you have to do, but having routines like that, having what I like to call they're elaborate self-care routines, right? And self-care is something that everybody needs, and women in particular are really bad at doing, right? We really, everybody else's needs comes first. You will feed the children and the horses before you feed yourself, right? So and in actual fact, if you're not fed, how can you have the energy to feed the children and the horses?
It's true, actually.
No. So
and that's one thing, actually, I'm going to interrupt you, sorry, that my partner does. So the odd time, now he's really good, he'll go feed them if I'm not back from work or if I'm a bit late or anything, himself and Amber go down. But he would always feed himself first before he goes to feed the ponies. And I would always do it the other way around. So you're right. He's right, I'm wrong in that one. Love that now.
Not that you're wrong, it's that you're learning. And I think women are, we're cast in the role of nurture. You know, it's drilled into us. We're to be nurturing. You're to mind your children, you're to mind your partner, you're to mind basically everybody, the cat, the dog, the mouse, and the hamster, before you mind yourself. And in reality, you must mind yourself first. This is why, you know, when you're on the plane and they say put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Yes. I wish that they would actually take a minute there and explain why that's important. Because the reality is, especially if you're traveling with the child, if you take the time to put the oxygen mask on the child first, in all likelihood is, if there's a lack of oxygen at that point, you're most likely going to pass out. And what's the first thing a child does when they see their mother passed out? Mommy, are you okay? They take the oxygen mask off to talk. So then they pass out. So now the people in charge have two people to look after. Whereas if you put the oxygen mask on yourself first, one, you're modeling for your child that this is a safe behavior. Should the child pass out, because you're getting the oxygen mask onto them, that will revive them round.
Or they could be safe. Copying you because you've set the example.
You've modeled for them the behavior, so they will follow suit. They'll be like, where's my mask? Give it to me. I want to do it myself. And if you have a very young child, they'll be reassured because they see you doing it first. They're not going to panic about what's going on in their face. So that way, the people in charge have nobody to look after because the two of you are fine. They can look after the other people who didn't do it. It's exactly the same in life. You must put your own oxygen mask on first. You must eat. You must eat with your children, you know, or before your children if that suits your schedule. You take time out to look after yourself every day. It's not just, oh, I'm going for a massage once a month, or, oh, I'm going to, I'm having a girls' weekend away once every 3 or 4 months. That is not sufficient self-care for any person. It's every day there is a minute that you can take that is entirely for you. It doesn't have to be a big, grandiose gesture. It doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, the fact that it would cost you nothing is even better. You can take time out on your lunch to read a page of a book. You can take time to look out the window and appreciate the fact that, well, it was up to 5 minutes ago, a nice blue sky out there, but it's grey now. But you can take a minute to just sit back, and really what you're doing is taking a minute to just breathe deeply. And when you breathe deeply, your entire system gets a minute to go. Just a little recharge throughout the day. You can do that 4 or 5 times a day and look after yourself that way. And definitely do the massage once a month, and definitely do the girls' weekend aways as well, not instead of. Add to, take a moment, take the breath.
Your wellness breaks.
Wellness breaks, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But people think it's like, oh, I got to schedule in 15 minutes to, do something. Actually, you've got to schedule in 30 seconds to just take a deep breath. Just do the reset. There's a great ad on TV at the moment. I think it's around COVID or something. Obviously I didn't pay that much attention, so it's not that great an ad, but there's a point where in the ad, there's a woman comes through the door of her office and leans against the office door and goes, oh. And the voiceover at the time, I think, is, and tell us when it's time to push on, and you can see her just take that second of, and then, right, come on, let's push on and do the next piece. And that's what I'm talking about. It's taking that 30 seconds, 60 seconds to just go, switch off the brain, focus on my breathing, do that. It's a regroup, recenter, reground, all of that. And then go on. And doing that 3-4 times a day will make a phenomenal difference to your life. I mean, it's simple, easy stuff that we can do that will change our life.
Not time consuming either.
Yes.
I think that's the big thing. I think people in general, my area, I treat men and women in my acupuncture clinic, but also women online, is that time out is one of the big things that we don't do. I would have been guilty, but it is that just sitting down, we don't have a huge lunch break, but even just sitting for that 10 minutes, eat a sandwich or eat something, breathe before eating, sit and eat.
Yeah. Just 60 seconds before the next client comes through the door.
Yeah.
Take a breath.
Absolutely. Just to breathe.
Yeah.
And even so I would treat some women who've got young children, toddlers, 2, 3, 4, and they are very time consuming and they have bundles of energy, and the only time that they're quiet is, I think, when they're asleep. I remember Amber, when she was little, she used to wait, well, and Hannah, the two of them, chatterboxes, wake up talking and go to sleep talking. They're hilarious. But I would often, when you're back in work and you're zooming to, you're trying to get your kid to the childminders, you're zooming to work and you're trying to then zoom out of work to collect them again. And my tip would be, like, once a week with my patients, I would say once or maybe twice a week. Don't collect them at 4 o'clock, collect them at 4:30. So you have that half an hour, maybe go for a coffee, maybe just sit in your car and close your eyes.
Yeah.
Don't go home, because if you go home, you'll do jobs. There's always a washing or something to do. But it would be more just that half an hour, go for a walk without children. Just something.
It is,
work. It's just you time. And I remember the horror, and still the horror look on their faces, that it's so terrible, they're being a terrible mom. And I'm like, but you're not. You're being good to you, which then makes you good to them.
Precisely. So, yeah. I recently published the Busy Mums Planner and Journal on Amazon. And every month there is a piece on self-care for you to focus on that month. And it's just one piece every month, because people feel overwhelmed of the need to do something. And my thing is that if you've got children, and there's some people actually who don't have children who bought it and said it's really useful, but if you've got children, especially the toddler age group, that's a very active lifestyle. Okay, and time is a commodity that's limited. We only have so many hours in a week.
Mhm.
So when you have children, you find that all of your time is gone doing the cleaning, the tidying up, the looking after, the running, the dropping, the collecting, the feeding, all of that. And so what people don't realize is actually how much time they do have. That 30 minutes outside of work, instead of collecting them at 4, collect them at 4:30. Like, you have time during your day. So one of the things in the planner that I put in was, I need you to mark in absolutely everything that you have to do. Mark in your work hours, mark in your time of sleeping, put in when you eat your dinner, put in when you eat your breakfast, your lunch, and then fill in around the gap. Look at the gaps and fill in around the gaps. Well, Friday morning, actually, after the kids are gone to play school, I don't work Fridays, so I have 3 hours there before I collect them. So that's great, 3 hours. You can do laundry, you can do the house clean, you can get the jobs that when they're underfoot become harder to do done. Then you can look at what other gaps of time you have, and you can say, well, actually, I have between 8 and 9 every night free. Oh, one of the nights I'm going to join a book club. One of the nights I'm just going to watch TV. One of the nights my husband and I are going on a date. One of the nights I'm going to, one of the nights, and I shouldn't just say husband, it could be partner of any kind.
Yeah.
So it's like, when you actually break down your day and your week, you see where the gaps of time are. You see where there is time for that 30 minutes of, actually, yeah, I can collect them at 4:30. I don't have to be there at 4. I can take time. I can sit in my car in the car park and blare my music or read my book. I can drive to a place that I love and sit there for 10 minutes and then go collect the children.
Mhm.
You can do all these things when you know. It's again like knowing your emotions, it's knowing your time. You got to know where your gaps of time are, that you can do the self-care pieces, that you can do the chores that need to be done, that if I get these jobs done, then it's out of the way with. And meal prepping, whatever it is. And then I encourage parents to make sure that, your children are also doing jobs in the home, that it's not just falling on one person to do it all. So get the children to help you sweep floors, age-appropriate chores, so that they understand that when you take time out to yourself, it's because all of these jobs get done all the time, not just this week, every week. Laundry gets done every week. Floors get swept every day. It's not just, oh, I did it once and it was amazing. I helped, Yeah, now do it again tomorrow. Dishwashers do not magically fill and empty themselves,
Really? They don't?
But they don't, no.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting to purchase the one that does.
Can you let me into that secret when you find it, please?
Oh, trust me, it'll be broadcast everywhere. This one is magic.
Yeah.
Clothes don't pick themselves up off the ground, things like that. And let children know without it being punishing or taxing on them, but let them feel that sense of responsibility, that they contribute in some way to the home, because that's really good for their self-esteem and their confidence. And parents have this thing that we must mind our children, and life is so hard, and sure, like, I can have it done and I'll do it twice as fast as the children would anyway, so then we'll have more time. So what you're teaching the children is that you don't think that they can do it.
My son, he'll kill me now for saying this. His least favorite job is emptying the dishwasher. So he will do it, right? But I say nothing. But so the knives and forks will be all in the wrong place. It'll just be thrown into the drawer. And then, but the plates and cups, more cups and glasses could be in the wrong cupboards. But I say nothing, because I just go, he's done it. It's done. We're going to be taking them out anyway, so if they're in a bit of the wrong place, we'll manage. But it's just because I don't want to then, and it's kind of a bit of a battle, I suppose, of like, he's done it badly, so that then I'll get annoyed and not ask him to do it again. But
exactly,
because I'm just gone, he's done it, so I'm not. At least it's done, it's empty, so it can be refilled.
There's a phrase in Adlerian psychology known as spitting in somebody's soup. Right, they're eating a bowl of soup, you spit in the soup. They can still eat it if they want, but it's not really going to taste as nice. So when he puts the stuff in the wrong place, yes, it's done. So you can approach it in several ways. You can ignore it and just keep going like he's done a great job, right? And he will eventually give up. Or you can say, you can be all authoritarian on it and make him fix it. You know, go back over there and do this and do that and do this, the other. And you see, like, can you feel the stress already at the thought of having to do that? Yeah.
No.
Or you can just say, I really appreciate your creativity and the way that you put things away. It's amazing. You're such a creative person. And walk away. He's like, damn it.
I like that reply. I like that one.
Yeah. It's like, oh, wow. I never thought of putting the mugs there. That's where I always put the glasses. That's a great place for the mugs. We should change it actually and put the mugs there and put the glasses where the mugs go.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. Could you do that for us, James? And he's like, no.
He's looking at me as if I got 10 heads. Be like,
exactly.
What is going on?
You're just playing with their reason for doing what they're doing in a friendly and fun way, so that you're challenging it, but you're not actually going all authoritarian on their ass. Yeah.
Challenging a teenager is just, I've tried it, and it only ends up you being so stressed and so angry, and then you end up saying things that you really don't mean to say, and then I'm just talking about me and James, he backpedals and won't do anything for me then. Whereas, he's a college student, and he because we live in Galway, he's in NUIG in Galway, he lives at home. So I let him, I don't know if it's right or wrong, live a bit of a student life. So I never call him. He's still in bed there now. But he'll get up and he might say to me, Mum, I'll go collect Amber for you today. So that gives me time to maybe do a job around the house. It's not a big run. It takes about 15 minutes to go in and collect her and back again. But it gives me that like sit down space, or space to call someone, or do a job. And I found that by not asking him in a cross way, like in a confrontational way, has been better. Now, it's not easy. Can't say I do it all the time.
Gosh, you mean you're human?
By any imagination, but it has helped our relationship, because there was times that I would have sold him on eBay quite easily to any bidder. Probably shouldn't say that out loud.
$39.99 or nearest offer.
Yeah, nearest offer. But he really is a very lovely young man, and very kind and caring, and helpful now. But it's because I'm not on his case as much. But that's not always easy to do. It isn't easy. I'm not saying that it is, but it has helped. So I don't. This drives me mad. He's in bed now. Would love to go in there and say, come on, get up, there's things to be done. But that's the life. If he wasn't living at home, he would be doing that in his student accommodation.
Yeah. And he's an adult.
He's 20 now. Yeah,
he
is an adult.
So he's an adult. And the thing with every teenager is that their teenage years are when you get to push the boundaries. You get to test. And you're also at the same time learning the power of the collective. You're learning the power of that influence group you have of friends and the society around you. You're establishing beliefs and values for yourself that might be different to what your parents have, or might be the same.
That can be quite shocking, can't it, as a parent?
It can. Yes, it really can. Or it could be that you're establishing, even if it's beliefs and values that are different to the educational setting that you're in. So, or maybe it's really hard for them if it's beliefs and values that are different to their friends. So this is all going on in the head of a teenager. And then they're told to empty the dishwasher. It's like, I can't cope. Right. So my thing with,
no other mums asked me to do these jobs. There's no other mother who asks their children to do this.
You're the only one who ever says to pick up your clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, and my response to that, and I've worked a lot with teenagers over the years as well. And my response is, because the magic fairy comes in and does it in every other house. It's a pity your house didn't pay for the subscription to the magic fairy. They're looking at me going, what? I'm going, the other houses must have the magic fairy that comes in and does it. I wonder how much does that cost every month? That must cost a fortune. Yeah, and they're like, Karen, you're talking nonsense. And I'm going, so are you.
I love that. So are you.
Mean you don't, because nobody else picks up their clothes. Of course they do. They just don't make a big deal about it. They just do it. My thing with parents, especially young children, is get them involved in the tasks from the very beginning. So then it's just normal. It's normal that we do it, and make sure that as the child gets older, the tasks become more age appropriate. You don't overwhelm them with everything. I mean, I know mothers who will leave a list of jobs to be done while they've gone to work. That's a bit much, I think, for children. I think if they know what's required, because you've had an honest conversation with them about it, then they will step up. And exactly what you said, James will say, hey, I'll collect Amber for you today. Give you that few minutes. They will step up themselves and they will do what's required of them. And one of the tenets of Adlerian psychology is encouragement. And we teach encouragement of children, that we believe in their ability to look after themselves, especially as adults, when they become adults, when they go from children to being adults, or from being an 8-year-old to being a 15-year-old to being an 18-year-old to being the 20-year-old, that we encourage them to take responsibility for their stuff. It's your job to do your homework. It's your job to learn your spellings. This is your responsibility. It's your responsibility to sweep the kitchen floor after dinner. This is your responsibility, and you do it. And then you're teaching children at a young age to take responsibility for themselves, not as a punishment, but as a way of life. It's just life. They become more resilient, they have better self-esteem, they feel more connected to the family, and they're more inclined to participate. And I will collect Amber for you today. That's participation.
Yeah, it's true, actually.
Yeah, if he was in his own accommodation, he would be asleep at now. He doesn't have to be up to go to college. He doesn't have a class. He doesn't have to do something. So yeah, he will sleep.
Yeah, it's true, actually. And probably like me, if I had nothing to do, I would probably maybe still be in bed reading my book, probably. Something like that, yeah.
Exactly. And when you look at it that way, through the lens of, well, is he honoring his responsibilities? Yes, great. And half the time, parents in your situation, I would look at them and go, you're a bit jealous, maybe? Are you a bit envious that like you're not in bed and that you're up and you've done all these jobs, and why isn't he coming down to help? And there's stuff to be done. But actually he's doing the stuff that he's supposed to be doing.
It's true. Actually, it's very true.
Yeah.
Now, I can ask him to do things, and it has become easier. I would say if I've had a particularly busy day, or my day has run over and I know I've got to do an extra job or something, I negotiate a job with him.
Yeah.
I'll say, if you do this, if I need your help, and he goes, oh, Mum, what do you want me to do? I said, there's 2 jobs, you pick which one you want. So that's how I negotiate.
I like that. I'm giving you a choice here of how you can help me, is what you're saying. And I really like that. I think as well, if you approach with, I need your help, he's feeling put upon. Whereas if you say, I need help, he has a choice to step in and help or not.
That's just with the reframing of those words makes it way more powerful.
Yeah.
Well, that's very clever.
Yeah,
I like that.
I need help. Yeah.
And I need help as opposed to I need your help.
I need your help. Yeah. Because I need your help means that you've got to do something you're not going to want to do. Whereas I need help means I trust and love you and care for you. And I know that you trust and love and care for me and will be willing to participate.
But that works with everybody, isn't it? That's everything, even with a partner or a husband or a family member, everybody.
Yeah, I need help. And that vulnerability, and showing that vulnerability of, I can't do everything. Yeah, there's things that I need help with. And that allows somebody like a teenager or even a younger child, or definitely somebody in their 20s, to step up and go, let me be the person who can help you with this.
And then they feel really good,
empowered. Yeah, they're completely empowered, because then they can say, oh, sure, my mother's always struggling on a Friday evening, so I just do it for her now. It's easier, it's like, I'm amazing.
I know, but you can imagine him saying that to his mates or any child, I'm just referring to my own kids now, but any child, I've helped my mom because she's not able to do it. It's not, Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, no, I can't meet you on Friday at 4 o'clock because I have to collect my sister from school because my mother, like, is just all over the place.
I'm okay with that too.
I mean, like, that's how they will say it to their friends, so that their friends will go, oh my God, Jesus, you're great to collect your sister, you know. And
Yeah.
they'll get the response from their friends that they need for that.
The kind of adoration or the well done, James.
Yeah. Pat on the back, go you. Yeah, God, your mother's a basket case. Yeah. The fact that what you're doing on a Friday is working and earning money to put bread on the table is beside the point. You know, that's
completely.
Yeah.
Doesn't even come into it.
But it's allowing, it's not just children either. You can do that for colleagues at work. You can do it for your partner. You can do it for your friends, your extended family. It's allowing people to help you. When you allow people to help you, you, one, get help, which is always lovely. And two, that person gets to get the payoff of being, I did something great today.
Yeah.
You know, I got to help someone.
Yeah. It's so true, isn't it?
Yeah. So ask for help, because when you do, you're taking pressure off yourself and you're giving somebody else a gift. They have the right to say yes or no. Right? If you ask me for help and it is absolutely impossible for me to do the thing you want me to do, I will say to you, I would love to help you, but unfortunately, right now, I cannot do that. I can't commit to being there every Friday at 4 o'clock, but check in with me on a Monday and I'll see if I'm free on a Friday to help you out that particular week.
I think that's a very important message, actually, that you just said there as well. The saying no sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, the no, because you can overcommit yourself and then it stresses you out on a completely different level.
Yeah. Well, if you overcommit yourself to doing things for other people, you'll end up resenting it.
Yeah.
And so you won't go into it with a good heart. It'll be like, oh God, I have to pick up our child at 4 o'clock. Sexy. You know what I mean? It becomes that thing. That then it becomes a focal point of resentment within a relationship. So, oh, he's always asking me to do this, or they're always saying, could I do that? Or she's always looking for. So again, that goes back to the self-care. Are you overcommitting yourself? And if you are, how come? What's in it for you when you overcommit yourself? What do you get? What's the payoff for you? Oh, I'm wanted. I'm needed. I'm so special. Everybody wants me. It's a great feeling, which is very, very short-lived. It lasts max a month, 6 weeks. After that, it's like, oh, to pick up that child again at 4 o'clock on a Friday.
It's true, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is true.
So you got to look at what's the payoff for you in your actions. Where's your self-care in this? Would you rather say, you know what, Friday 4 o'clock is when I paint my toenails, and that's a really important ritual to me. So no, I'm not going to commit to collecting the kid from school. Friday at 4 o'clock is when I have meetings with my boss. So no, I can't possibly collect the kid from school. Friday at 4 o'clock is my time. So I'm not willing to sacrifice my time in order to appease or be popular with or falsely help somebody. Because if you commit to helping somebody, commit. Don't do a false commitment of, yeah, sure, I can do that for you. Maybe. If you're going to do it, you know. And when you commit to something, when you say, you know what, actually, I can paint my toenails at 5 o'clock, I can collect this kid at 4. I can do this and help my friend out, and this is going to be great. Every Friday at 4 o'clock, you're going to get that payoff feeling. Every Friday at 4 o'clock, you're going to be like, I'm helping somebody. This is amazing. You talk to the kid in the car, you know, you drop them home, you do whatever you do. 5 o'clock, you're painting your toenails going, I did something good today. And look at me painting my toenails now. You know, whatever it is, you got to make sure that if you're going to offer to help somebody, that it is right, that you can help them, that it is right for you to help them, and that you have the time to do it. And that it's not taking away from your kids are left outside the gate of a different school, you know, at 4 o'clock on a Friday because you're helping someone. You know, you got to be sensible about it. And learning to say no from that place is very different to just a flat out, no, but I don't quite know why I'm saying no because I don't want to do it. It sounds like maybe I will. You know, when you come from the place of let me think about it. Let me think about it is the greatest phrase every woman should know. when you're asked to do something, the first words out of your mouth are, let me think about that.
Yeah, because you do have a certain element of guilt that you aren't actually helping a person. You know, again, that comes back to the woman is the nurturer, the one who has to do, it's been bred into us to do everything and say no to nothing. So you can always feel the guilt in your body when you say, no, sorry, I can't do it.
You can choose to feel guilt, because guilt is just an emotion.
Back to the emotion again.
Yeah. So name the emotion. I'm feeling guilty. Why? Because I love this person and I want to help them. So now you're no longer guilt.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're not stuck in the and where your no becomes no. You know, kind of questionable no there, like no, I can't today, but maybe, and you're kind of half committing yourself to doing something, which the other person at the end of the line hears, oh, thank God they're going to do it for me.
Yeah.
So you're miscommunicating with the person then, because you're miscommunicating with yourself. So you got to check, what am I feeling here? Guilt. Why am I feeling guilt? Because this is my friend. I really want to help my friend out. Okay, I can't. If I say yes and I let her down, I'm not really helping her, am I? So I need to be honest with how I'm feeling here. And that's where you need to take that pause. So if you're about to commit to something, you just go, can I get back to you on that? Just give me 2 minutes to just, my favorite one is, oh gosh, I don't have my diary in front of me. My diary's on my phone. It's always around me somewhere. But I shouldn't say this out loud actually, because now everybody knows I do this. But anyway, I go, oh gosh, I don't have my diary in front of me. Let me just go check and I'll get back to you. Give me 2 minutes.
No, but it's true. You do need that space just to think if you can and can't do it. Yeah. It is
and
true.
Then be honest with yourself about what you're committing to. What am I committing to here? Is it a one-off thing? Is it a monthly thing? Is it am I committing to a regular 4 o'clock pickup?
It goes back to your diary, doesn't it? Your planner, your time. Yeah. Is it something that you can schedule into that particular day?
Yeah. Do I have the space? Yeah.
Yeah. It goes back to that. It's not really, it's nothing else. It's not personal. It's not meanness. It's not because you don't care. It's whether it's you're putting your own oxygen mask on first.
Precisely. And you have to remember, the no can mean that you care.
Yes.
Because I'm saying no to something that I would only be doing a half-assed job at.
Yes. And there's actually very frustrating then for the person that you're half doing it for.
Yeah. So if you think of the person who's asked you,
they know.
Yeah, exactly. If you think of the person you're doing it for, particularly if it's somebody that you care deeply about, you got to ask yourself, well, will they want me to do the job right, as in commit and do it to the best of my ability? And do I have the time to do that? Well, then no, I'm not going to do a half job for them. I'm not going to give them half my effort. Because I care for them, I'm going to say no. So they can find somebody who can.
And this really comes into the remit of what you do, that kind of, you know, when you think everything is perfect in your life, but then that you're just missing that thing. It's
a little thing, just a little tweak. And people panic that, oh, the change is going to be huge. I'm going to have to make huge changes in my life. If I have a great job and if I have a great family life and I'm really happy in my relationship and I'm still not ultimately happy, then that means something big has got to change. Really and truly, it's a tweak. It's learning to say no. It's learning to say yes to yourself. It's learning to schedule your time so you have time for self-care. It's learning to breathe. It's learning to figure out what you believe in about yourself so that you can change that if it's negative. Stick it in a positive one instead.
Yeah, absolutely. And that applies then, and we talked about this earlier with ladies that are going through IVF or IUI, you know, really does apply. This really applies to those type of ladies, or even ladies who are in perimenopause or menopause, or even pregnancy. And you know, we've talked about young children, like that timing, that calendar that you've designed. I must get the link from you and I'll share it with everyone. It's huge. It's something that I do. I can't say I'm regular at doing it, but it is something that I work with a coach on, and planning my day, because you know, it's the jobs you don't like doing as well that you procrastinate on. So, you know, that it is about getting, you know, getting maybe not enjoyment out of doing them, because sometimes you don't enjoy doing them, but it's just, you know, the fact that you schedule them in from 9 till 10, say, and you get them done, and then they're done. And then you feel good about yourself.
And one of the things I teach people is, and it's a procrastination fixer, as it were, it fixes procrastination, is when people think, we'll use the cleaning toilets, because it's a job that really nobody likes to do, but needs to be done, right? So you think about cleaning a toilet, and roll the eyes, oh my God. And how many people live in this house to create this mess, you know? And I always tell people, focus on what it's going to feel like when it's done. Not the emotion of about to do it, but the emotion of when it's done. When this job is finished and the bathroom is pristine, that toilet is so clean, you know, I won't say what that expression is, but you get where I'm going with this. Like that, it's like you look at it with pride.
You're just like,
yes, I've done this, you know, go me, this is a great job. And focus on that, because that will actually motivate you to do the job, because you will want that feeling. People want to feel great. So if you're focusing on, I don't know what went on in that bathroom last night, but the toilet needs to be cleaned.
Yeah, you're just like,
ugh. And then you're going in like this.
I wouldn't even do that. I'd close the door and go, that's for another day.
You got guests coming around, Lucy. Gotta have a clean toilet.
I'd be like, sorry, our toilet now.
But if you think about, oh, when this job is finished, how am I going to feel? I'm going to feel like amazed. So then you go in with, I want that amazed feeling. Scrub, get this dirt off, you know, and clean, pick up those towels and put out fresh ones and smell of fresh towels. And you focus on all of those, make it a sensory experience of how great the bathroom will be when it's done. Job gets done. There's no procrastination on stuff like that then. It just gets done, you know. I know. I was just thinking, when was the last time I cleaned the bathroom?
Karen, you have been totally amazing. There's so many tips there. I can't even name them all, what you've shared with us. All I can say is thank you. And thank you so much again for all your help with Hannah. She is a very great spark now.
She's a star. Yeah.
She is. And she actually rode her first point-to-point winner at Yeah, so that was amazing. So she was on a high after that. So but thank you so much for all your help.
Oh, you're so very welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been I love talking with you. It's been a blast.
So what I'll do is I will add Karen's link to Amazon. So if you want to get book for journaling time, etc., that would be amazing. Or any information, you know, if you want to get hold of Karen, I'll add it there. Also, don't forget to join me on my menopause course if you're having difficulty in menopause or fertility, or if you want to talk to me directly. I'm right here. And one more thing, I shouldn't give you too many things to do. Don't forget to follow the channel. That would be brilliant.
Okay, yes, follow her channel. Follow the channel.
Follow. Thank you.
Thanks a million, Lucy.